asked my mother, what is this? What is this Sabbath? The Sabbath. And she said, well, our ancestors, they kept the Sabbath, but now we do it on Sunday. And even to someone that was like 10, 11 years old, her answers didn't make any sense to me. And she didn't pretend that they made any sense. As the lights dimmed down, at that moment, I just broke, and I knew that I had been missing something my entire life. That the questions I started asking when I was in second grade, I asked my mother, what is this? What is this Sabbath? The Sabbath. And she said, well, our ancestors, they kept the Sabbath, but now we do it on Sunday. And even to someone that was like, 10, 11 years old, her answers didn't make any sense to me. And she didn't pretend that they made any sense. It's just that, we don't do it on the Sabbath anymore. The Sabbath now we do, we get to go to church on Sunday. And so when I saw that, I realized that here is something that the scripture says. This is a sign of his people. It says that we are to keep these commandments. I mean, they are not 10 suggestions. They are not 9 commandments. They're 10 commandments. And as I started reading through this, I saw in the Gospels that back then I called him Jesus, and I say, Jesus Christ saved my life. But after I got to know him, he let me know his name was Yeshua, and he asked me if I would please remember it next time I talked to him. And so, it was, I saw that Yeshua was always keeping the Sabbath. He was constantly breaking the rules of the Pharisees, my ancestors. He's always vehemently, repeatedly breaking the rules and regulations, but he was holding to the sanctity of the Sabbath and doing the commandments. And everything he was doing, he was teaching us how to live the Torah. And it was that moment in time that when I saw Fiddler on the Roof, I knew that there was something there that I'd been missing my whole life, but I didn't know what it was. And so that's what began my journey. And I made a big mistake. I read the book of Acts. And there I saw Jewish followers of the Jewish Messiah who were living with the power of God, and they were doing, and ordinary people were doing signs, miracles, and wonders that different people were being communicated with, that they're not apostles. They're just disciples, and yet they are receiving a revelation from heaven. They're doing things that I have never seen in now 18 years of going to church. I'd never seen them before. And I realized this is real. Even though I've never seen these miracles, I've been to every prayer meeting at the Baptist church since I was, in diapers. And all these prayer meetings, I never once saw anyone heal. But yet I knew that this could be true. So I looked around and I saw the people are 70, 80 years old, and I thought, if I just stay in this church and learn everything I can from these people, when I'm 70 years old, I'll have the same fire of God, I'll have the same passion, the same that I see in them. And so I left and never went back. I thought, I need to put myself in a position where I can see these miracles happen. The real key was going back, not from a Gentile perspective that I've been raised in my whole life, but then I started to go back to the perspective of my ancestors. But there was something that I understood that it seems to be evading a lot of people out there. The traditions that we now have in modern day Judaism are not what we did in the temple. They are simply reminders of what we did in the temple. After the temple was destroyed, then these different traditions developed. And it took hundreds of years for many of these traditions to develop. The kippah is something that came on hundreds of years later, and it is a symbol that you are under the authority of the rabbis. Well, I'm not under the authority of the rabbis, for one thing. And so that's why I don't wear a kippah. Yeshua said, do not, as it says in the Hebrew Matthew, and this is one of the things that I always keep here on Jefferson's library here, the Hebrew Gospel of Matthew very clearly says, Yeshua says in Matthew 23, do not follow the takanot and maasim of the Pharisees. They say they follow Moses, they don't do what Moses says to do. See, and I understood that because unless you understand Pharisaism, which is modern day Judaism, you don't realize that it is a religion that is made up by adding thousands of commandments and removing commandments. And this is exactly what we see Yeshua speaking about and confronting them on. They say, in English, it says, why do your disciples break the traditions of the elders? In Hebrew, it is takanot. Takanot is legally defined in the Encyclopedia Judaica as laws enacted by the Pharisee rabbis which change or negate biblical law. But yet Moses said no one is ever allowed to add one single commandment or diminish one single commandment so that you may keep all the commandments of Yahovah your Elohim. See, once you add to or subtract from, you no longer have the commandments of God. You have the beginning of a man-made religion. And that is exactly what Pharisaism is. That is the world that I came out of. Okay, I am twice removed from that world, but I still know these rules and regulations that were enacted by the Pharisees. This is what Yeshua is hammering against, and he is deliberately violating those rules and regulations. Most people, when they read the New Testament, actually, my Bible, I have divided up here. Here's the Torah. The five Gospels and the Acts. When you read the five Gospels and the Acts, we may be reading the Greek New Testament, but still it is describing a Hebrew culture. These may be Greek words, but the culture is still a world that is dominated by Pharisaism. We have the writings of the Pharisees that go back 300 years before the birth of Yeshua. And so Pharisaism is a world that he's born into, but Pharisaism is kind of a figure today of every man-made religion out there where they've made up their own stuff. The Christian church adds to, subtracts from. It just depends on what rules and regulations people want to follow to what congregation they feel comfortable in. If they don't like the rules and regulations here, they move across to the next street corner with another, stained glass building. And okay, I like these rules better. But has the Almighty, has he not laid down his instructions, said don't add, don't subtract? And that's why in the New Testament, it says that the Torah, the commandments in the Torah, they're not grievous. They're not difficult. Really, they are not difficult. Look how thin this is. According to the rabbis, there are only 613 commandments here. And we've got 2.4 million commandments in America that you get thrown in jail if you break. 613, and most of them don't apply. Some just to children, some just to women, some just to men, some only if you're a Levite among men, and others only if you are the Kohen Gadol. On the Day of Atonement does it even apply. So what we are given, the instructions of the Almighty, these are the things that are being left behind by the modern religion of this world. They want to take out numbered sound bites out of the epistles, out of letters that Paul wrote, and they don't even realize that he's quoting directly from the Torah and the prophets. And unless you have that context, his letters don't make any sense. And people will take little numbered sound bites, they call verses, strip them completely out of context and reinterpret them from a Gentile perspective. I say, let the Jews interpret the scriptures the Jews have written, and I'll leave plenty of time at the end of anything I do for the Gentiles to interpret all the scriptures that Gentiles wrote. Well, it doesn't take a whole lot of time for them to realize, the Gentiles didn't write any scriptures. But it's that background of understanding that the traditions of modern Judaism are not what we did in the temple. And that's why